5, it's the city of Madison's largest budget increase since 2009. What changes the mayor is pushing for.
Plus, President Biden and other world leaders vow to continue supporting Ukraine as Russian aggression continues.
And actress Angela Lansbury has died. We'll take a look back at her award-winning film, television, and stage career. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with us at 5, everyone. Keeping more people out of jail while resolving root issues and inequities that drive crime.
Well, that's the goal of a long-discussed sweeping reform program coming to Dane County, fueled by a $600,000 federal grant. Naomi Cole shows us the out-of-state inspiration behind it.
It shifted the onus to a community problem.
Procedural justice speaks to the idea of fairness.
When a group of Dane County criminal justice and community leaders returned from New York in 2015, they came fired up.
If you look at Red Hook, they have educational services there. They have social workers.
The Red Hook Community Justice Center is a nationally renowned model for criminal justice reform. Combining a host of diversion programs and social services under one roof, people diverted there almost never get jail time. Instead, they get help and accountability.
In a sense, it's a way to connect people to resources.
Dane County District Attorney Ishmael Azan says bringing a community court packed with services all under one roof here, that builds on the county's existing efforts for criminal justice alternatives by addressing root causes.
Whether that's mental health, whether that's addiction, whether that's housing or education, what is causing the person to come to the criminal justice system? And if we can get to that and address that need, we're likely not to see the person in the criminal justice system again.
A $600,000 federal grant means the long planned for dream in Dane County can approach reality. It will fund a 4-year pilot program where Ozan hopes 600 cases can be served.
If you're sending someone to prison and not taking full advantage of the opportunity to have a positive impact, you're just delaying another victimization. So if we can actually get to people sooner, we know evidence shows that early intervention works.
In Madison for News 3 Now, I'm Naomi Coles.
Now, the effort in the county dates back almost a decade, and Naomi has many more details online about the model it's based off of and how the county plans to implement its own version.
Testimonies continue today in the trial of Darrell Brooks.
He's accused of killing 6 people, injuring dozens more when he drove through a Waukesha Christmas parade. Today, the jury heard from several people who witnessed the attack, including 2 dance coaches. Alyssa Gajewski is a coach with Extreme Dance whose girls were marching in the parade that day. She broke down a few times after recounting how many of the dancers were seriously hurt after getting hit by Brooks' SUV.
I picked her up as soon as her body was right in front of me. I just picked her up because I didn't know what was about to happen.
What did you think had happened at that point?
I didn't know. I didn't know if there was going to be just a bunch of cars. So I just wanted to get her out of the way.
Waukesha Police Detective Mike Carpenter also took the stand, testifying the department did video analysis on the vehicle that ran into the crowd, saying that it was going more than 30 miles an hour when it hit the parade. You can continue to follow the trial and watch a live stream at channel3000.com and on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Well, let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast now. Julian Seawright out on the weather patio. Julian?
A couple of sprinkles are starting to roll in for us outside on the weather patio, but really the showers are still south of Dane County as of right now. So we take a look at our radar, what we're seeing, that still there's small little bands of showers just outside of Rock County from the system that's really impacting much of the northern Illinois and Chicago area with consistent rainfall that we've been looking at over the past 2 hours. We can see that large band of rain is continuing to move its way over towards Lake Michigan, but could start to see a couple of outflows later into the evening that could bring in a couple of showers that may reach into Dane County. So we can't rule out any rain for the rest of the evening, but the biggest event for us is still going to be overnight into tomorrow. Now, taking a look outside as of right now, holding on to that cloud cover, and on top of it, temperatures are going to be rather stable. We're going to see those 60s throughout the course of this evening and heading into tonight as well, as we're not going to be really budging out of the 60s for our overnight plans. We're looking at cloud cover for many of us here in Dane County and taking a larger view for us here in southern Wisconsin. Cloudy conditions, could see some showers and potential storms overnight. In the lower 60s and upper 50s is really going to be the theme for us, so it's going to be a mild night for us here in southern Wisconsin. We're going to talk talk more about planning out the rest of our Wednesday and how we're going to see those rain impacts in just a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
All right, Julian, thank you. President Biden and other G7 leaders are pledging their support for Ukraine. Officials say at least 19 people were killed in the latest round of Russian missile attacks. Skylar Henry tells us many have lost access to power, water, and heat ahead of the oncoming winter.
For a second straight day, Russian forces kept up attacks on Ukrainian cities, terrorizing civilians in the south and elsewhere.
Да сложно словами описать.
The owner of a car shop that was destroyed expressed sadness at the death of a security guard. This woman was rescued from her home after a Russian anti-aircraft missile hit the area. The fresh attacks come just a day after Russia struck cities and critical infrastructure across Ukraine Monday, following an attack on a key bridge to Russian-occupied Crimea. In an emergency meeting, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called on the leaders of the G7 countries to send more air defense systems. He warned Russian President Vladimir Putin could escalate the conflict even further. In a joint statement after that meeting, President Biden and the leaders of the other group of 7 countries vowed to continue to provide military and financial support for Ukraine, promising severe consequences if Russia uses nuclear weapons. In St. Petersburg Tuesday, Putin met with the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency to discuss safety concerns at a nuclear power plant in southern Ukraine, now occupied by Russian forces.
We do have issues that have to do with the nuclear safety.
Putin indicated he is open to dialogue about the plant. He's expected to meet with Turkish President Erdogan Wednesday, who says he believes Putin is seeking an end to the ongoing war. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Tonight, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is in Brussels to meet with NATO leaders and to help coordinate military aid to Ukraine. If Madison's mayor gets her way, people who live in Madison will pay more in taxes, but should see some notable additions to city services.
Satya Rhodes Conway presented her budget proposal this morning. It includes the largest overall budget increase in more than a decade. Andrew Banstra shows us what some of the changes would be here. Andrew?
Pending council approval, the mayor's operating budget includes the largest increase since 2009. Her main areas of focus are safety, affordable housing, and an investment in kids. The mayor wants to expand the city's CARES program, which seeks to avoid sending police to people going through a mental health crisis instead sending a medic and crisis worker. She'd like the service to be available 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Of note, when it comes to policing, the mayor is proposing Madison spend nearly $1 million more than what MPD requested. Rhodes Conway's budget would also afford for an extra $250,000 into youth development programs. It would also launch a program helping reduce the cost of utility bills for families in need.
If successful, MadCap will offer financial assistance to Madison's lower-income households to help bring down the cost of their municipal services bill, just like energy assistance helps households with the cost of their energy bills.
The mayor's budget also includes the proposal to offer almost all city employees a one-time $1,000 bonus to help offset inflation and pandemic-related expenses. It provides $4 million to help pave the way for a long-awaited permanent men's shelter. In the news center, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Now.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. The budget process starts tonight, and Fitchburg City Council President now says he will run to become that city's next mayor. In a statement today, Randy Udell said he's excited to be a candidate, looks forward to the campaign. He also said many people have urged him to run because of his experience in city government and as someone who has always brought people together to find solutions. That move comes a day after Mayor Aaron Richardson announced he will not be seeking a third term as Fitchburg mayor.
Well, new parents who have a child in the NICU pour all of their attention into one thing, making sure that their newborn leaves healthy.
And often that comes at the expense of those parents taking care of themselves. Tahlil Mohadeen shows us how a small gesture in Madison today should help change that. Tahlil?
Parents staying in the hospital as their newborns get special treatment will now have a few extra comforts of homes. It comes in the form of baskets like this one. Students delivered the baskets to SSM St. Mary's Hospital this afternoon. A pair of Evansville High School seniors dedicated their Senior Kindness Project to helping NICU families. Department Manager Jessica Urso said she was blown away by how thoughtful the baskets were.
To have people who are so giving and selfless do something so kind for you, it just brings a level of comfort that you don't expect. And so I just thought it was so wonderful and kind.
The baskets have things like phone chargers, toothbrushes, water bottles, and journals, all things SSM staff say come in very handy during unexpected long stays in the hospital. Tonight at 6, we'll hear from the 2 students behind this donation, why they were inspired to help.
Great story, Tahlil. Thank you. Next at 5, we could see some thunderstorms late tonight. Julian has the latest.
Plus, we'll take a closer look at the life and career of actress Angela Lansbury, who passed away today. And later, why Governor Tony Evers says he won't sign abortion exceptions into state law. We'll have that story and more tonight at 6.
Mixed results in Tuesday trading on Wall Street. The Dow gains 36. The NASDAQ falls almost 116. The S&P 500 saw a 23.5-point decline, and we'll be right back.
Will your old roof stand up to heavy showers and storms? Don't put your home at risk. Call Erie Metal Roofing for one-day installation on the last roof you'll ever need. The Erie Metal Roofing system stands up to heavy rain, hail, high wind, even fire. On one side, you get the look of an architectural shingle, and the other side, solid steel construction. Erie is A+ rated with the BBB, more than 2,000 excellent reviews online, and there's no shortage in our supply chain, so we can turn your job around quickly. Call today for an estimate as soon as tomorrow. And don't miss this opportunity. It's our double savings sale. Double your savings from $1,000 to $2,000 off a new metal roofing system. It's so affordable. Plus, double your financing. Ask about 0% financing for 12 months. Call Erie Metal Roofing, 1-800-966-4500. That's 1-800-966-4500.
The women I see have been through brutal, unimaginable things. I'll never understand why politicians like Ron Johnson make it so hard for women. He supported the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, outlawing abortion in Wisconsin. Even for victims of rape and incest, abortion is criminalized in Wisconsin. Doctors can be prosecuted. My most vulnerable patients will have nowhere to turn. Ron Johnson doesn't care about us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime, and get moving. Go cardio crazy in our clean and spacious clubs. Jam out on the strength machines and get down with some dumbbells. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, October 14th.
It's dangerous up here, and it's no fun shopping around for a reputable contractor. I've built my company on the promise to treat our customers like we would our own family. That means an honest, no-pressure sales experience, expert craftsmanship, and a lifetime guarantee of our work. We know Gutter Shutter is the best system for you and your home, and we'd love to show you how it can keep you safe and off that ladder forever. So call us or visit us online to set up your free estimate, and we can show you what Gutter Shutter and the Larson Home Experience is all about.
Governor Tony Evers has declared not to sign a bill allowing exceptions for abortion, stating it does not do enough. News 3 Now analyzes how this will impact his re-election campaign.
And Madison's mayor plans a budget increase for police funding. We'll have the details at 6.
As political ads bombard you with campaign promises and claims to capture your vote, News 3 Now gives you a reality check, clarifying the candidates' messages and finding the facts to help you make informed choices. Reality Check, Wednesdays on News 3 Now at 6. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Welcome back to the holiday Holidays are right around the corner, and like just about everything these days, the prices for travel are going up, and that has many Americans rethinking their plans. A new report from Bankrate finds nearly 80% of people are changing their holiday travel plans because of the rising costs. 26% say they will travel for fewer days. 25% are selecting less expensive accommodations.
In the past, I would normally just rent a hotel while I was visiting, but this time I mixed it up, and so I'm staying with friends a couple nights.
Believe it or not, it's already getting kind of late in the game for holiday travel bookings. So I would say book as soon as you can, especially for flights. That's where we're seeing the biggest increases.
Travel company Hopper says prices for plane tickets are up 36% over last year. That's likely a major reason why 23% of people who are going to fly now plan to drive to their holiday destinations instead.
Angela Lansbury, a leading lady on Broadway and one of Hollywood's most loved stars, has died.
Michael George takes a look back at her extraordinary 8 decades-long career.
Angela Lansbury was one of the last big stars from Hollywood's golden age. She played hundreds of characters on theatrical stages and in films during her 8-decade career.
My name is Jessica Fletcher. I'm sorry.
But she's probably best known for a television role, playing Jessica Fletcher, a retired schoolteacher from Cabot Cove, Maine, who solved murder mysteries as she wrote whodunit novels. Murder, She Wrote ran on CBS for 12 seasons and brought the actress worldwide acclaim.
I thought I knew where the treasure might be found.
Angela Bridget Lansbury was born in London in 1925. Her father died when she was 9, causing her to turn to playing characters to cope with his death. Lansbury's family moved to the United States in 1940 to escape the Blitz in World War II. And Angela, a self-proclaimed complete movie maniac, studied acting in New York City. She signed with MGM, where she appeared in more than a dozen Hollywood films, including National Velvet, playing Elizabeth Taylor's older sister.
What does it feel like to be in love with a horse?
She received her first Golden Globe Award and 2 Oscar nominations for her portrayal as working-class singer Sybil Vane in The Picture of Dorian Gray in 1945. Lansbury also found success on Broadway, gaining stardom and her first of 5 Tony Awards as the lead character in the musical Mame. From Shakespeare to Sondheim, some of her other memorable roles include an English witch in Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. Later in life, Lansbury lent her voice to animated films, including Beauty and the Beast and Anastasia. She rounded out her golden years appearing in occasional films well into her 90s.
I'm interested in every part of life. In other words, not just acting, but everything that is given to us as human beings to indulge ourselves in our lives.
At the age of 93, she told Larry King she had no plans to retire.
I'll probably pass away, you know, with one hand, one hand on my script.
Among her many honors, in 2014, the British native was named a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire. Michael George, CBS News.
Quite a career. Angela Lansbury was 96 years old.
Let's get a look now at the weather. Julian Seawright is watching the forecast and some big changes today.
That's right. It started off very mild for us. Now it's just mild. We're into the 60s. Cloud cover is taking over southern Wisconsin, and we're going to be monitoring some showers, potentially developing into some storms as we get into the later part of tonight. We have a marginal risk for all of southern Wisconsin and even parts of northern Wisconsin as well, which is going to be in effect throughout the course of the rest of our Tuesday and even potentially leading into our Tuesday night, as well as we are looking for the shower development to potentially pop up some storms that could be strong and or severe. Now, our biggest threats with any of these storms that could be strong or severe will mainly be the winds and on top of it, potentially some isolated hail. But as we look at our radar as of right now, we're seeing clusters of some showers starting to roll their way into Rock and Greene counties. But for the most part, it's all coming from an outflow of this system that is moving its way across Chicago and into Lake Michigan. Now, we are looking for it to continue to track its way way just about northeast. So south of Madison could see a couple of showers moving their way near Belleville, Oregon, or even for Stoughton, and then continue to hold itself later into our evening. So we could see a couple of showers, but as of right now, not looking at too much in terms of intensity of some thunderstorms looking to develop. But that's not going to really be the case for us as we get into the overnight. That will be our best chance late overnight, close to around our Wednesday morning, where we could start to see some scattered thunderstorms starting to fire off and even some more showers. Our temperatures are going to bottom out into the lower 60s, so it's going to be a mild night and very different from what it has been over the last couple. Now, as we get into tomorrow, our takeaway is that our temperatures are going to be into the lower 60s. It's not going to be a very mild day, but still rather on the mild side, but close to seasonable for this time of year. It's typically around 60 degrees for us as we get into about the second week of October, but we are looking for scattered thunderstorms and showers to really be the headliner for us, but it will also be breezy. So be prepared for more windy conditions as we get into our Wednesday. Temperatures around southern Wisconsin. Our high is going to be around 61 degrees in Madison. Areas to the west could be a bit warmer as they get a bit more sunshine. We're looking into the middle 60s, but overall things are going to stay in the stabilized state of those lower 60s. So let's go ahead and walk through what we can expect throughout the rest of tonight. May see a couple of showers, but overall things are going to be rather quiet until we get into our overnight, close to when we're heading out the door for our Wednesday morning. A couple of showers will start to fire off, and then we could be seeing some potentials of some storms firing off as well around the 7 o'clock hour. So as you're heading out the door, getting ready to go to work, or you get the kids to school, going to look at some storms starting to fire off and continue as we get into around the lunchtime hour. Could look for some showers to roll their way in, and then another round by the time we get into our Wednesday evening. So be prepared for some on and off showers and some windy conditions throughout the course of your Wednesday, especially for our lunchtime hour and getting to our Wednesday evening. A 10 to a quarter of an inch is what we're going to be expecting for us here in Madison. Not looking for too much in terms of rainfall, but folks, be prepared. We are going to be looking at a cool down by the time we get into our Wednesday night and for the rest of the week. Temperatures are going to fall into the upper 40s and even to the 50s as we get into the rest of the weekend. Outside of that, a quick look at our traffic. Rather smooth as we're getting into the 5 p.m. commutes around the Beltline, and also for the interstate, still all green as we're getting into our traffic. It's going to do it for right now. Let's go ahead and toss it back to you guys.
All right, Julian, thank you. Happening today, 90 South Central Wisconsin veterans are taking in the sights and scenes of our nation's capital thanks to the 44th Badger Honor Flight. Earlier this morning, Korean and Vietnam War era veterans departed from Dane County Regional Airport for the 5th Badger Honor Flight this year. The veterans spent the day in D.C. visiting memorials honoring the veterans and their service. They return later tonight. And for some veterans, this will be a welcome home decades in the making.
I think today, when they come back, they're going to find a much more welcoming atmosphere than they did 50 years ago. And I think a lot of these veterans deserve that, and I think it's been a long time coming.
Today's flight was funded by donations raised by Kopke's Greenhouse. Badger Honor Flight has flown over 3,800 veterans to Washington, D.C. now since 2010. The Welcome Home celebration begins at 7:30 at Dane County Regional Airport. We all know about livestock emissions in Wisconsin, don't we? Well, next at 5, how New Zealand has a new plan to make farmers do something to pay for it and to help fight climate change. That story coming up.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Having a roof over your head is essential. Knowing that roof will last a lifetime is priceless. So call Erie Metal Roofing for the last roof you'll ever need. Impact-resistant metal roofing with the strength of steel. Installed in as little as 1 day. And our installers are experts in their field, paying close attention to detail and performing a full job site cleanup. It's just another reason homeowners love Erie Metal Roofing.
They did a very nice job of cleaning everything up and taking everything away when they did the work.
Call now during our double savings sale for the biggest savings of the year. Double your savings from $1,000 to $2,000 off a new metal roofing system. Plus, double your financing. Ask about 0% financing for 12 months. We've helped thousands of homeowners afford a new metal roof. Just call 1-800-966-4500. That's 1-800-966-4500.
A 12-year-old girl can't legally drive a car. At 12, she can't even vote. But if this little girl were tragically raped or a victim of incest and became pregnant, Radical Tim Michaels would force her to deliver the baby. He said it's, quote, not unreasonable for the state government to mandate rape victims to give birth. Would it be unreasonable if he were forcing this on you? Let him know on Election Day.
Wells Fargo lets you know where you stand with your FICO credit score. What if you knew where you stood with everything? Like your future in-laws.
Hope you like cats.
I hope your parents like me. They're whispering.
The kitties like her.
Can they tell I'm allergic? Tears of joy.
Welcome to the family.
Like knowing where you stand? When it comes to your credit score, you can with Wells Fargo.
The culture wars never lowered the cost of anything, and overturning Roe v. Wade won't take a single criminal off the street. But Tim Michaels has a culture war agenda. He'd ban abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest, and jail doctors who perform them. And he said gay people shouldn't leave their house. That's his agenda. Tony Evers has a real plan to fire up the economy, create good-paying jobs, and get things done. That's the right plan for Wisconsin.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Ron Johnson caught lying. Independent fact checks call his attacks on Mandela Barnes false and misleading. But it's Johnson's views that are alarming. Johnson supported a ban on abortions. He co-sponsored a bill that makes no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And Johnson said if women don't like it, they can move. The truth is, it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
The Supreme Court will weigh in on a 2018 California law on animal welfare. The National Pork Producers Council has sued over the constitutionality of the law, saying that it hurts pig farmers. The council went before the court today, saying it could make pork more expensive. California voters passed Proposition 12, requiring more living space for farm animals eventually sold as food in the state.
What California will do is force farmers to adopt these standards that are going to raise the price of food for everybody.
It is the right move, and people are willing, even if it has a slight increased cost initially to change over.
Farmers say the court's ruling could change the industry. A decision is expected by the end of June. The Biden administration sided with pork producers and argued against the proposition in court.
And New Zealand's government is looking to tax gas from cows and other animals which emit harmful greenhouse gases. The plan includes incentives for farmers who reduce emissions through feed additives. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says farmers can recover the cost by charging more for climate-friendly products, but critics argue the world-first proposal ignores measures that many farmers are already using to counter greenhouse gases.
All money raised from charges on emissions will be recycled back into the system to fund further research, tools and technology.
This initiative actually sends the wrong signals to the wrong sector and isn't sufficient to address the climate emergency that we're in.
A decision on the emissions tax plan is expected in December. Now, there are just 5 million people in New Zealand, but some 10 million beef and dairy cattle and 26 million sheep. We'll be right back.
Have you inspected your roof lately? Deteriorating, torn, and missing shingles are an open invitation to water damage. But it's not your fault, it's the asphalt. So call Erie Metal Roofing now. Schedule a free roof inspection. We'll identify problem areas and show you how the Erie Metal Roofing system is the last roof you'll ever need. Beautiful, insulated, stone-coated metal roofing tested to withstand 120-mile-per-hour wind, backed with a lifetime warranty. Be sure you ask about our one-day installation. And now, during our double savings sale, double your savings from $1,000 to $2,000 off a new metal roofing system. Plus, last chance to call during this program. Double your financing. Ask about 0% financing for 12 months. We've helped thousands of homeowners afford a new metal roof. Just call 1-800-966-4500. That's 1-800-966-4500.
Reducing prison populations is now sexy. Reducing prison populations is now sexy.
Sexy?
Mandela Barnes's administration has released over 800 criminals, including 44 child rapists. That's not sexy. It's terrifying. And as a mother, I don't want Mandela Barnes anywhere near the Senate. From defunding our police to releasing predators, Mandela Barnes is a threat to Wisconsin families.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Looking for one of our most capable Ford SUVs? Okay, great. We've got you covered. Spacious interiors, innovative tech, good looks, and a legendary off-road experience. Check out our inventory today, or let us help you place a custom order. Getting into the perfect Ford SUV? Well, it's easier than ever. Yeah, we've got you covered. Now choose FlexBuy on a 2022 Ford Escape or Edge and get 0% financing for 66 months.
The women I see have been through brutal, unimaginable things. I'll never understand why politicians like Ron Johnson make it so hard for women. He supported the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, outlawing abortion in Wisconsin. Even for victims of rape and incest, abortion is criminalized in Wisconsin. Doctors can be prosecuted. My most vulnerable patients will have nowhere to turn. Ron Johnson doesn't care about us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Expand your outdoor living space with our huge selection of landscape blocks from Menards. Get a free estimate instantly with our Design and Buy landscaping program. From patios, retaining walls, fire pits, and more, you can design the landscape of your dreams for free. Visit the store or Menards.com to get started on your next project today. Right now, save 11% on everything. Only at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Julian's back. Final check of the forecast.
And we're going to be watching for shower and storm development for the next few hours and heading into our Wednesday. But the windy conditions are going to stick around on top of the mild temperatures. Then a cold front is going to be knocking things into the upper 40s and 50s heading into the weekend, where it's going to be a chilly one.
All right. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 now at 6. The CBS Evening News is coming your way next.